Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and I have this really fun card to share today. It's using this is a ginormous stamp set from Dilutions by Stampers Anonymous, and it's available at Spellbinders with a coordinating die set. And I love red rubber stamps because they stamp so beautifully. Now that looks like a sloppy mess, but there's a reason. Because I am doing a faux watercolor technique that Delise, who goes by Stamper Girl here on YouTube, she taught us how to do this on a Crafty Fun with Friends live stream. I think it was Pick Skipper Craft, and her pick was the technique to use. And so she taught us all this technique for quick and fast coloring, which involves picking a stamp, an ink, I should say, an ink pad that is water soluble and moves, with the application of water. And during the live stream, I picked an ink that is water-based, but it didn't quite move as much as I had hoped, and I wasn't getting the same effect that Delise was getting when she was demonstrating. So I wanted to try it again, and this is my second attempt. And so what I'm doing is I'm just partially inking up certain areas of this red rubber stamp, and it will work with other stamps as well. But this is what I'll be crafting with today, so that's what I'm using. And when I ink it up, I inked it dry, so the stamp is dry. Then I apply the ink, and then I spritz it with water. I did give my watercolor paper, I am stamping onto watercolor paper because it does tend to move better. Delise demonstrated it onto just some plain cardstock, and it worked great for her. She got it to move quite a lot, but she was using a lot of water. I don't think you need to use quite as much water because watercolor paper it's just the fibers are different. So it just lends itself to having that ink spread and move more easily. But the thing is that you don't want to necessarily be inking up a wet stamp because then you might waterlog your ink pad. So I ink the stamp when it's dry and then spritz it with water and then stamp it. So by spritzing it with water first, it's more diluted, and it's going to move a little bit more once it hits the paper, as opposed to just soaking into the papers and then getting kind of dyeing those paper fibers. And that's the beauty of kind of a wet on wet technique, where your ink is a little bit wet, the paper's a little bit wet, so everything's just going to move and nothing's gonna really lock in immediately. Now, the reason why I'm doing this all on my stamp positioning tool is so that I can do that last step of overstamping, so that you crisp up those outlines again, because the technique is to just take some water from your brush and you pull the color from the outline from that first stamping, and you use that to color your image with. It's really awesome. And then you get this sort of no-line coloring, which is fabulous and so fast too. But what that's going to mean is that if you wanted a really strong outline, because you've pulled some of that pigment towards the body of the stamped image, towards the center of the stamped image, it's going to soften the outline. And so if you want a more well-defined, darker, stronger outline, make sure your whole image is nice and dry. You don't want it to be damp even slightly, because again, if you're working onto something wet, there's more movement, versus if you're stamping onto something that's dry, it's going to stay in place. It'll stay put better. And that's why I did everything inside my stamp positioning tool, so that it can, so I can do that final step of overstamping. And you can see the lines are a lot bolder. But Delise was saying how, this is a loosey-goosey technique. You can be messy, you can go outside the lines, because I think that's part of the charm of the technique and part of the charm of watercoloring in general. It's not really meant to be like photorealistic or anything. And certainly I haven't chosen photorealistic colors. And these birds are wearing shoes and stockings. So, I think whimsy is sort of the nature or the style of this particular stamp set. So I had a lot of fun with this technique, and I'm so glad that I tried it again because it was kind of a fail when I did it during the live stream because I chose the wrong inks, and now I can really appreciate why Delise loves this technique so much because it's so fast to color. It's so fast to color. For me, when I color alcohol markers, it's slow. But when I try to watercolor, it's even more slow because I always build layer upon layer, and sometimes you have to let those layers dry before building up more layers on top. So really love this technique, and to complement that, I pulled out some of my Lindy's Gang magicals, and I just made this really quick background. Love the magicals. It's different every time you play with them, and they're just so fun. I mean, it's really, again, another really easy way to create a background, and you get something different every time, and it feels very loose. It feels very, organic, and I thought that would be fitting for the faux watercoloring technique. And so my card today, it's actually part of an Instagram hop that Delise organizes every week. And so that's what made me think about doing this technique, because I wanted to participate in Delise's hop. And as I was thinking about what to craft, I thought about giving her technique a try. So if you want to pop on over to check out the hop, I'll leave a link to where you can start hopping in the description box below. And I love the weekly hops that Delise organizes because she picks a theme for the month, and then within the month, each week, we get to pick between two themes for that week. So there's kind of an overarching, idea or, theme for the month. This month, the overarching theme is birthday because July is Delise's birthday month. I wonder if maybe Delise is trying to encourage us to make birthday cards to send her. But every week, Delise actually gives us the choice between two things. And that way, I feel like I appreciate that because I always want to participate. But then sometimes with some hops, the theme is a little bit of a struggle for me, and so I find it hard to participate. But when she gives us the choice between two, there's usually something that I find, a little bit easier to craft than the other. And I always try to at least participate once a month. She does them weekly, so definitely pop on over to Instagram, check out Delise's profile. She's Stamper Girl here on YouTube and on Instagram and really all the socials. So if you want to participate, you should just DM her, and she'll include you when she starts to organize each weekly hop. It's really fun. It's just a way to kind of participate, meet other crafters, and maybe just spark some different ideas and get a little bit of a jump start on your creativity. I think that's always really fun too. This week, our options were the letter Y or birthday. And so I chose birthday because the only thing, Delise gave us some examples of what we could do for the letter Y. But the first thing that popped to my mind, it's not even a word, it's the acronym YOLO, you only live once. And for the life of me, I can't figure out what I can use in my stash to make YOLO work. But I love what Delise taught us with this faux watercoloring technique. So I thought this would be perfect for a birthday card. So thanks for checking out my video today. I'll leave links to all of the products that I used on this card, and as well the link to the Instagram hop where you can check out what other crafters decided to craft, either the letter Y or birthday. Thanks again, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fabulous day. Bye.